want sedating, I wanted sorting out, you know what I mean? And I always say it, and this is why I've come to it with learning to cope with mental health disabilities, and obviously is the best remedy for mental health is talking to like-minded people, because medication, unless you get the right one, you know, will not help, you know, it just does the total opposite. So yeah, I got to a stage where the medication got me even depressed even more. And I was basically going out still, drinking and drugs, and I'd come back off 3 or 4 day sessions off drinking drugs, and I'd sleep for literally 3 days and I'd not wake up. I'd sleep for like 3 days and not wake up. And, you know, it even got to the stage where my ex-missus Sarah, she even got the, you know, she got the GP to come to the house because I wouldn't wake up out of bed. Sorry about this. I hate it, really, to be fair.
No, this is your truth. Take your time. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, you know, it got to the stage where I wouldn't wake up. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to see it anymore. To be fair, got to the stage of drinking drugs where I wanted it to kill me. You know, I basically wanted the drugs. I wanted the drinking drugs to actually kill me, mate. And sorry about this. I do apologise.
Don't apologize.
So yeah, just, you know, I didn't want to live anymore, and the more drugs I took, I wanted it to kill me. I didn't want to wake up, and but yeah, no, it's better out than in, and that's why I'm willing to talk about it. You know, that's why thingy. But you know, it got to that stage, as I say, where I didn't want to live, and I told my doctor I've been in mental health rehabs, you know, and for like I was in there for a month. One of them in the priory, because my triggers, you know, certain triggers and stuff like that is my local area, really, a place called Haywood. You know, it's nothing to do with anybody else in terms of friends and family who we used to go out drinking and session with, you know. Basically, you know, but it's my trigger, being around people, like-minded people who take drink and drugs. I don't say no to that, so I needed to get away from that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So basically, yeah, it's, you know, they ended up sending me to a rehab in County Durham, towards Scotland way, at the top of the country, and they paid for it, and I ended up being in there for like a month. And I ended up getting kicked out of there, really. The armed police had to come because I was rookie, and I just went loopy. And they sent me back to a secure unit back at Fairfield, Irwell unit. And I couldn't hack it in there. I just couldn't hack it. It wasn't for me. But I wasn't sectioned. I was voluntary as well at the time. So I could sign myself out. So I basically run one of my brothers and I said, just come and get me out of here. Like, you know, I said, I can't hack it in here. So anyway, I come out and it still carried on, really. And then I kept going back to my doctors. You know, I tried to kill myself, ended up in hospital. You know, I read all my medication at once. And, you know, I went to my doctors, and every time I'd been to my doctors, he'd not really asked me about my life story. He'd just said, right, this is that, this is that, this is that. And one day he sat me down and he basically said to me, you know, he said, I want to ask you a few questions about your life story and how it's panned out. And a bit more in depth than this, really. You know, I've lost my license, you know, done quite a lot of things, really. It's just been up, down, up, down. It's never been a steady life. And I told him, you know, he said, what about young age? And I said, well, it started from about 7 years old, you know, even younger. I was a destructive little boy. You know, and my head was always spinning constantly. You know, I got to the stage when I was younger where I was drinking loads, nicking cans out of my mum's house, and blacking myself out from the beer, and then you know, foaming at the mouth and actually beating people up in my family and stuff, and you know, that's how it got. And anyway, he said to me, right, I'm going to basically put you in touch with a company called Lancs UK. They specialise in ADHD. But not knowing as well, on my father's side, my sperm donors, I don't like my dad. I won't spit on him if he was on fire. You know, he's never been there for me. And this is what I feel, you know, people with ADHD, you feel like you're always getting deserted all the time. And, you know, I speak up in a lot of ADHD groups on Facebook and social media, because there's a lot of parents that are struggling to obviously, you know, cope with the children and stuff like that. And, you know, don't give up on your children. That's all I can ever say. If you've got a child with mental health, do not give up on him, you know, because I feel like I've been given up on, and that's me being honest with you. But I'm old enough to look after myself now. So yeah, I mean, he sent me to this ADHD clinic called Lancs UK. And basically, you know, it took me 2 years to get to see these, but in these 2 years, I'd split up with my wife, Sarah, and I ended up getting with Sarah, another Sarah, which I'm currently with, and she's amazing, my missus. Honestly, I was always told through my life from my previous partners and my mother, I'm not going to lie, my mother as well, and my brothers and my sisters, everyone, you're just a naughty bastard. It's a naughty bastard syndrome. You know, that's what people was calling it. You know, there's no such thing as ADHD. People don't believe in it. Do you know what I mean? And that's still to this day now. I hear people say, oh, he's just a naughty bastard, or she's just a naughty bastard. And I apologise about my language. You know, I do apologise. But that's how it was told. You know, but really deep down, you know, if you do a lot of reading up, it's a neurological brain disorder, you know what I mean? And I'll explain to you in a minute why, because about the stimulants and stuff like that. But yeah, I eventually, me and Sarah got together, my current partner. We've been together nearly 2 years now. We've had a little baby. I'm going to start smiling now because we're now looking, you know, we've just been told we're having twins as well, which is mad. But before, I mean,
that too. Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that, mate. And I can't wait really, but I'm going to be great and stressed. But yeah, I mean, when I met Sarah, you know, I was still going through a life of hell. I was in a really, really well-paid job. You know, I was earning 50 odd grand a year, and I was clearing like £4,000 a month after tax, which I'm not bragging about, but you know, there was a lot more money there to sniff cocaine. And I got to the states, the states where I was sniffing 30 bags in a night. You know what I mean? And it was really bad. You know, but this was really, it just kept propelling. But, you know, it was really to block things out and, you know, keep my mind going. It was weird. It was weird how it worked. So eventually we had to move away, and I've got children that actually from my first marriage that live in Northern Ireland, over in Ireland, and we moved away over to Northern Ireland to get away from everywhere. And everyone really, just to start a fresh life. But it really didn't happen. You know, my next door neighbour ended up to be a bleeding drug dealer and everything. So it just, you know, it just carried on from there, and it just a bit, you know, it was mad. And I ended up going to prison in Northern Ireland. We took a guy back to the house, ended up giving him a bit of a slap and stuff, and you know, pushing the missus out of the way and that to get to him because my head just seed red because I let him go to the toilet and basically caught him in the bedroom with the children. Whether the children he was speaking to him saying I don't know, but my first instincts, you know, pepped up and it, you know, pedophile as they call them or whatever, you know, that's what I thought because there's no person should go in your kid's room even if he's going to the toilet in your house. I mean, my fault for taking the children in back to our house, you know, but you learn your lessons. So I ended up basically, you know, smashing my house up because I was frustrated, you know, and that's it. But I'd still not had this official diagnosis with ADHD at that time. So I ended up going to prison in Northern Ireland, and then obviously Sarah moved back home on her own because she had no one to look after her. And then I got out of prison, and we ended up getting a house together, but there was no chance of going back to Manchester, Haywood, because if we did, me and Sarah wouldn't be together now because I would probably tell you, I'd